To say that Manny Bidillo is just an absolute inspiration to any 9/11 truther. And I'd like if we could just give a round up for Manny right now. I remember one day down at Ground Zero, it was actually, it was the 8th of 11th. It was the 11th of August in 2007, and we were gearing up, we were getting ready for the 9/11 events, and I remember back in those days, that's when the PATH station was still the original way, when they had the kind of line where we could stand, and we weren't allowed to cross this line because it's Port Authority property. Now I remember I'm standing there behind the barricade and stuff, behind the poles, and all of a sudden I see Manny out on the Port Authority property, just walking around on the top of his lungs saying, free information about 9/11. My uncle was killed right here, free information. And something welled up inside of me. When I saw Manny doing that, all my fear about stepping across that line and having to deal with Port Authority police and potentially going to jail for it just dissolved in an instant. Put more into this movement, I think, than anyone else. Because for Manny, this is really emotional. He lost his uncle, and he's out here all the time, fighting. He's one of the most passionate speakers I think I've ever heard in my life, and he's an inspiration to us all. So I'd now like you to welcome Mr. Manny Bidillo.
Those are the Myers brothers. This is a family affair. Everyone that's in this room I consider family, and I want to thank you for standing up for my family and 3,000 others that can't speak right now. They're really intimidated, they're a little traumatized, but the rest of us are alleviating that and bringing it to this event. We're bringing to the justice that it's deserving and the accountability. We're saving lives right now. Every dollar you put in there is saving a life. Okay? All of us are stressed beyond belief. All of us have jobs. All of us took off to come here and do this. And I just want to say that, again, it's extremely humbling. And I am more than thankful and grateful for this turnout here tonight and the turnout that we had today. I apologize for not being with you at the events. I've lost my voice like Tom has, and I've gotten upset just as much. I've gotten into confrontations myself with people, but I always look back and said, you know what, I was the same way. I didn't have that knowledge, and this is about knowledge, okay? This isn't about belief or what we think. This is about possessing something that's precious and trying to get over to people that may not look at it like that as something precious, because when we have information relating to not just one murder, but a mass murder, when we have information that relates to an unsolved crime that has murdered thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, that is vitally important. All of us here today are vitally important, not just to the cause, which we are here for, but to the sanctity of this life that we live in. All of us are extremely powerful people, and I really appreciate the power that I see right now. This is more than I ever thought I'd be part of. I really think my uncle should be here, especially learning that how he was murdered is nothing like the story that was told. So I'll say a few things after. I just want to show you a video. These are actions that we could all take. All of us are empowered. We could all do this. okay? I'm sure that the reason why I'm on this video in front of 500,000 people in Europe is because I'm a family member and it was September 11th. Okay, that's the mainstream media, that's how they choose us. But all of us can get in front of that, those cameras and be on these types of shows. If we just properly get across the points, the vitally important points that we have, we could cite people from everywhere, all around this country, people from all different professions, when it comes to the mass murder, the unsolved crime, the false flag, domestic terror, psychological operation, otherwise known as 9/11. That's maybe too much for some people, but you could definitely cite facts that you can't deny, such as the commissioners and the cover-up. And it's almost as if this is the most important study that we are going to be doing in our lives, because once we get to the truth of what happened to my uncle, that changes the entire course of our nation, changes foreign policy. It actually saves millions and millions of lives. I'm tired of Muslims being demonized throughout this world because we're sitting there and we're saying, they're backward and all this. There's no us and them. There's no right and left. That's a false paradigm. You all know that from our mission statement. And what's fascinating is that you can really speak about this in other realms about that false paradigm, that top-down hierarchy. Okay. When people, try to defend Obama, some of my best friends, I say, why are you personalizing this? Why are you saying Obama can do everything? We don't live in a dictatorship. There's no one leader. There's criminals behind him that are doing it 10 times worse. I go, he's the pretty face in front of the camera. And they're all sitting there like, oh, that's great. BS, come on now. Let's wake up. Let's get this, properly, looked at and analyzed. We have a crime that took place 8 years ago yesterday that has led to wars of empire. We have over 800 military bases on this planet right now. Okay? Now, that's an empire. And we don't do what the British did. We don't colonize. Not even did they colonize. If anybody knows this, New York didn't start as a colony. The ground we're on right now started as a corporation. The West India Corporation, okay? The first people that were here were Dutch. They worked for the West India Corporation. There was no colonization here. This is property that was first owned by a corporation, okay? And so this goes back years and years, hundreds of years, if not thousands in civilization. So we're just going to play I'd say maybe 5 minutes, and this has to do with a Associated Press video that happened yesterday, and this is the one thing I want you to look at, okay? Listen to what I said, critique it, please. Come up to me later and tell me what points I could have, gone further with.